Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the TTJ Network, where professionals come to get inspired, build connections, relationships, and access resources through exclusive membership.
Wonderful. Amazing, amazing. So in this episode, we're here introducing the Tangiel Johnson Network and also celebrating the wonderful news that Tangiel Johnson is launching your Corporate IQ podcast.
Woohoo!
So
Yay!
yes, so Tangiel is the host of your Corporate IQ, and I'm your co-host, Lachez Solage. Yay, we're so
She's
excited.
fabulous. She's fabulous, you guys. She's fabulous.
So exciting. So much that you're doing. The launch of two ventures here. So much celebration. Yes, 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 yes. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about the Tangiel Johnson Network. How does one become a member?
How does one become a member? Ooh, this is a good question. Well, I would say first and foremost that to be a part of the TTJ network, the first thing you want to do is reach out to us. You can reach out to us through your corporate IQ, actually, on info@yourcorporateiq.com. What will take place is once you submit your interest, someone will get back to you. There'll be an application process, and we'll go over, what is comprised in the membership, if there is a charge, what the cost will be, etc.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about that so our folks can understand a little bit more about the Tangiel Johnson Network. So what's included in this wonderful membership?
Sure, no problem. So it's an exclusive membership network, basically, where professionals can come together to access resources, to build their network, get coaching access, training, workshops. They can gain business insight information,
Ah,
ultimately meet the right people to help them further their professional goals and objectives.
wonderful, wonderful. How did this wonderful network come about? How did it start?
Ooh, how did it start? Well, do I go back to 1966 when I was born? No.
That's really the
No,
truth, though.
it is, isn't it? Everybody comes to this planet with a purpose, okay? And my purpose, really on this earth, I believe, is that, God put me here to spread love. Basically, in a nutshell, his love. And I do it through being a motivator, a connector, and a dream maker.
All
Plain,
right.
plain and simple.
And also just your 40 years in corporate, really, and just all the connections that you've built over your 40-year career. I mean, just congratulations for that as well. So much experience.
Thank you.
You've collected so many professionals over the course of your fantastic career, right?
And made a ton of friends. I can't believe that, when I grew up, I was a loner and I had very few friends. And over the years of helping people, God has really smiled on me and given me lots of favor to have some really amazing friends. Matter of fact, I've had people tell me that quite a bit. I can't believe the quality of friends that you have. And they all have become a part of my network.
I've said that.
Yes,
I
you
said that.
have.
I'm like, what? People? Yeah, I'm right here. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the network that you have and the friends
Yeah.
that you have. Not only are they professionals, but it's impressive that they're kind of spiritual and good people also. So
Yes.
it's a solid network in that way as well.
Yes. I try to
Wonderful.
keep what do they say? Birds of a feather, they flock together.
Oh man. So what's what's kind of in the network? What type of individuals are in the network today?
Yeah, so my network is pretty vast. I mean, currently just on LinkedIn alone, I've got over 12,000 followers slash connections.
Wow.
And that is one platform. Okay. I have many others in different forms. And really what I'll say in short is that it's made up of early career professionals, mid-level, tenured, all three levels, including interns, co-ops, consultants, entrepreneurs, corporate professionals, from all divisions within a company. So from admin to president, to be quite honest, and everything in between.
Yes, yes.
And in addition, as far as industries go, high tech, telecom. Is, we haven't heard that word in a long time, but telecom, networking, manufacturing, construction, and even a little bit of healthcare. And this is on a global range, Lachez. So this is
Wow.
covering China, India, Africa, the EMEAs, Latin America, and the good old US of A.
Oh, wow. Wow. I think what's so powerful here is that, we all have LinkedIn networks. Everybody
Yeah.
has that. But I think that not everyone knows how to use those networks for one. And I
Yes.
think that what's different about you and what you have even outside of LinkedIn is your ability to connect people. So it's not
Yes.
about the network itself. It's really you and your ability to connect people and connect the right people, right?
Yes.
That's really what it is. It's not the people, it's not the network itself, it's you. You're the connector of all things within, the network. Because most people it's
Sure.
just they don't know how to utilize what they have there. It's you. It's you.
Well, like I said before, my purpose, I believe in life, is to bring a network of people alive by helping people further their purposes. Part of my gifting is um, one faith. Believe that or not, that's a gift. Also discernment, and also again, I gotta say love. I encourage. I love to encourage people, so that's what I do.
Wow. Wonderful. 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 I think the Tangiel Johnson Network and your corporate IQ, and I know you'll get into this, but there's so much connectedness in both ventures. I mean,
Sure.
in your corporate IQ, there's so much about networks and there's so much about navigation. And so this is, and you can kind of elaborate on this here. This is just another entry point, another way that you're connecting folks through the two ventures. It's really the same thing. Talk
Yes.
about that a little bit.
Sure. So you know, the Tangiel Johnson Network is really entry point, if you will. I'm still using your corporate IQ as the vehicle, if you will, and which will have a slew of services that we'll talk more about once you join on our podcast, Your Corporate IQ. Let me plug that in there. Um, but really, the purpose of the network ultimately is to give back to my culture and my community, and how they're going to marry each other or work together is everyone in my network has the opportunity to, one, as I mentioned, come together with others in their field, get personal invitations, um, you know uh, roundtables, events, these types
Yes.
of things, and learning at the same time. One of the great things about being in staffing or a professional staffing person for 40 years is you learn a thing or two about how corporate is structured. You
Mm-hmm.
learn about personalities. You learn about self awareness, self development, self actualization, how you need to prepare to compete. And so I have been afforded that opportunity to not only learn it, but teach it to others. So that's really what I
Awesome.
do.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit about this podcast, your corporate IQ. So excited about the launch of your podcast. Share with everyone. What's the
Okay.
podcast?
So, first, the podcast. Your corporate IQ, also known as YCIQ. Your corporate IQ, really, the mission of it is to empower individuals, particularly people of color. So I don't want to exclude anyone, but I do want to highlight that this is particularly just for people of color. Why? Because typically when you're stepping into a corporate environment that hasn't been traditionally designed for people of color, there are rules, unspoken rules. There are just ways of being that we and in our culture are not aware of. And over the years, I have coached people to help them, again, from entry to exit. And I decided, I'm going to be a certain age this year. It's time that I go ahead and put that out there for everyone because everyone deserves an opportunity to learn, sharpen their skills, and get ready, career readiness, if you will. And why not bring my network with me? So, on the podcast, you will get to hear from some amazing professionals, people of color, that can tell you about their journeys and hopefully not only inspire you, but give you some real good gems. So in the case of your corporate IQ, we say the perils as well as the pearls of corporate America. And you can take that information and hopefully use it to your benefit in your journey.
Awesome. Awesome. This is just multiple ways for you to give back. You've been giving back your entire career, but this is just more ways for Tangiel to give back, which is what you do, right?
Yes, I can't help myself. And I'm like, gee whiz, will I ever stop?
Man, I think that your corporate IQ is such a special podcast. I think there's so
Sure,
much to talk about in the corporate space, but particularly as you said before, um, people of color don't necessarily receive, um, and I'll just say they don't, right? They don't necessarily receive all of the kind of infrastructure support that other groups receive, right? So the reach back,
sure.
the guidance, the support, without being asked so it's about navigation. It's about having access to information. And so I think that your corporate IQ is so powerful and that it's providing that resource that you're not receiving, and so it's through the guests sharing their experiences where you glean the pearls, right? It's through other
Yes,
experiences, folks that have done it successfully, have navigated their journeys in corporate successfully. What did they do? Who helped them? It's really
yes,
unpacking all the things that we know now are
yes.
required for success in the corporate space, right? We've
That's
literally
right.
figured out like the recipe essentially. There's not one recipe, but we figured out some of the components that are really important to be successful in a corporate space. And we're
Yes,
having successful people come on the show and share their journey. And then you, as a listener, can kind of glean what they did and pick up some pearls, like Tangiel said, or some
yes.
perils. Yeah.
Car perils. And, I have to say, sometimes people want to harp on the fact that, it's the color that separates us from winning. But I'm going to be honest, sometimes it's us, people. It's us, people. And what I mean by that is we come in not having those tools and not having the information. And so then a lot of assumptions are made, right? Not always. Sometimes it's right, glaring you right in the face, of unfairness and bias and things of this nature. But a lot of times, and I won't say a lot of times, but in some cases, we just don't know what to say. We don't know what to do. And we're quite actually apprehensive of who to talk to, because they don't know who to trust. They don't know, am I saying the right thing? How am I supposed to talk? I hear these things and have heard these things for years. So by having this podcast, they'll get to hear some things that address their fears, their concerns, some of the things that they get validated on, and
Yeah.
hopefully some tools on knowing how to map and navigate.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
And so if you're continually not receiving access to the information, there's so many gaps in your knowledge. So I think that
Yes.
the pearls that you can glean on your corporate IQ can kind of fill in those things. And then there's support services. So, as you learn things, we're able to point you in the right direction to fill in those gaps or to fill in, the services that you need as well. So coaching might be required, for example. And so we can
Yes.
put you in contact with coaching services through Tangiel Johnson, right?
Yes.
And your network. So we're not just
Yes.
providing information, but you also have access to additional resources that can help to further develop
Yes.
what you've learned on the podcast. And so I think this was so powerful is to not only share experiences, seeing it tangible, right? Seeing someone else that's been successful and how did they do it? What were the steps? Who helped them? Kind of pulling back that curtain of what's required, right? Because those are the things that you
Yes.
don't have access to. What's actually required, what others are given. And we're telling you, these are the things that are required. And then you take steps to get to where you need to go. So I think it's so powerful for sure.
Yes. Awesome. You're getting me excited, and I'm the one that's created this thing.
Oh, it's so much to learn. It's so much to learn. Even for us, just hearing the experiences,
Oh,
it's
it's
a
been wonderful.
pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it that some of the people in my network that I've known for 20 plus years, I have a conversation with them about your corporate IQ, and I've like taken to school again, learning things that I didn't even know, one about them, and then two about their passions and how they align and how they've given back to our community, and then nuggets that I could take to help me further my development. So it really is an exciting, exciting podcast. I hope all of you join the network. I hope all of you definitely tune in for the podcast because you'll definitely walk away with some pearls.
Absolutely. Definitely. Definitely. And have some fun too.
Yes. Watch us get silly.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well,
Yes.
thank you for tuning in. And please,
Yes.
please, please join us. Stay tuned for our podcast, all of the episodes launching, your
Yes.
Tangiel Johnson Network. Make sure, stay tuned.
Yes. Stay tuned. And remember, if you're interested in joining the network or getting more information, simply send an email to info@yourcorporateiq.com. Thanks and see you
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you.